Happy holidays and welcome to day 3 of 12 days of DevOps. Today we're going to cover KubeVela and the open application model. So I'll start with the disclaimer. This presentation contains my personal opinions and views of me, but does not reflect the views of any organization, institution, or group associated with me. By watching this presentation, you acknowledge, agree to the terms of this disclaimer. I'm not going to read this whole thing, and I'm sure you'll be glad. Okay, on to day 3. We're going to talk about, as I mentioned, the open application model. It's a spec defining modern application components and their relationship, enabling portability across different cloud platforms. Why is that important? Well, it's a way of thinking about your application first so that you can define your application so that you can abstract the infrastructure and that the platform can run your application reliably, scaling it, auto-healing it, etc. Okay, so why do we need it? Well, the model provides platform-agnostic specification that defines the components of the modern application. Okay, so if you think about that, it's everything that the makes up the application and how it can be deployed or what it needs ultimately, the requirements of the application. Okay, so it's portable, or it provides portability. It's speed of deployment, collaboration, simplicity are just a few of the benefits. What makes up OAM? Well, it's an application configuration, as I mentioned. So there are components of the application. They may be containers, services, routes, and then within those components, you're going to have the details of those components, such as environmental variables, dependencies, resource limits, like CPU, memory. You also have trait configuration that helps with scaling policies, auto-healing, etc. Then you need really what provides this is OAM is an abstraction layer between the application and the underlying infrastructure, enabling it to be easily deployed, the application to be easily deployed to different cloud platforms without having to rewrite the application code. It really ultimately is a standard. And as with many standards, there will be many implementations. We're going to talk about one implementation, KubeVela. So KubeVela is a platform that revolves around cloud-native application delivery scenarios and is built on the OAM. I am not a KubeVela expert, nor am I trying to sell you on KubeVela. KubeVela has a CLI. It also has a UX, and I'm going to show you one example of that. But KubeVela is a fully programmable framework platform where you can use Q or Cube. You can also use Helm, but there's a multitude of add-ons for KubeVela, such as Grafana for observability, and it has many different tools such as FluxCD for GitOps, and there's topology rules, as well as it supports using Kubernetes custom resources, the CO. So what are the challenges? Well, your teams have to learn, your application teams have to learn about OAM. So there's a learning curve, and there's, for the most part, there's limited tooling, although it is evolving, and some have compatibility concerns. In conclusion, as our cloud-based applications become increasingly complex, the need for a standard way of describing and deploying them becomes more important. And OAM is that standard. So I recommend you go over to Killer Coda if you haven't already signed up, killercoda.com. If you look and search for KubeVela, there's a great practice demo where it has this is literally the second next, or the right after you read about KubeVela. And I have this page up, so you can see that it is using the OAM.dev /v1 beta 1 API. As you can see, the kind is application. The spec includes the components, as I mentioned, with name, type is web service. You can see the properties of the web service, the image, the commands, ports, CPU memory, and it also has the traits such as scaling. And when you run Vela up, it will literally deploy the application. So you can see that the web service is applied. You can then check and see if it's up or status. And then you can also see in the UX. So if you do a port forward, you can then click on the Vela, KubeVela UX, sorry, that is, and log in with the admin password that's provided. And you can see, I'm not going to go through this whole demo, but I just wanted you to see how easy it was to get KubeVela up and running and take a look at it, so you can have a chance to play with it. I hope this information is helpful and why OAM is important and why KubeVela is important. So please send me messages, likes, whatever. Have a good day and happy holidays.